All right, rolling out. It is Monday night. It's Crystal Jordan, your host for Reality Check, and we are back with our second. We go back to back on Monday night, so this is our second reality check for the night. Earlier tonight, we had Tyler Abram, an actress, and we talked with Tyler about number one, the Oscars, and her favorites as far as dress. And I mentioned my favorite movie, which was Judas and the Black Messiah for this year. We are waiting for Mr. Troy himself from Ready to Love to join us. So I thought I would just go on and jump on. And as we wait for Troy, I'm going to remind you all of what happened on the last episode of Ready to Love, just so that it's fresh on everybody's mind. We're going to make sure I'm going to go ahead and play. Actually, you know what? There's Troy. So we're going to go ahead and bring him in, and then we'll play the clip from Ready to Love. Hi, Troy.
Hello there.
Welcome to Reality Check. How are you this Monday night?
I'm doing fabulous. Can you hear me pretty good?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Absolutely.
How's your day
Absolutely.
today?
So how have you been since the show? Have you been enjoying hearing commentary and all that good stuff on the show?
I've been doing good. Life is good. Since the show, I've been, things have been pretty good. It's been, let me just say, it's been interesting to say the least.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's been good. I mean, I've been, it's been, it's kind of what it is. Kind of goes with the territory. You get some good, you get some bad. A little bit of everything.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier on an earlier reality check about the Oscars was yesterday,
Right.
and so I wondered, did you what was your favorite movie for 2020? What was your favorite?
Man, I might not be the best person to ask that because I didn't see very many movies. I don't think, especially that was in the Oscars.
It didn't have to be in the Oscars. Yeah, it didn't have to be in the Oscars. Just overall, I know all of us.
Overall, I like the Black Messiah was good, and I know that was in the movie. That was in the movies. That was in the Oscars as well. And what else did I see? Man, I didn't see very many movies. Other than, obviously we all probably saw Coming to America. Yeah, that'd be a good question. And I'm a pretty good movie buff, but 2020 was one kind of bleak in terms of movies.
Yeah.
With me working and my daughter and doing the show and everything, I didn't have too much time watching very many movies. But I did watch The Black Messiah. That was good, very interesting movie. A couple other little movies like King Kong versus Godzilla. I'm sure you guys not probably interested in none of that, whatever. But that was pretty much about it. I didn't really see very many movies.
Okay. Well, you know what? We did see. My favorite was Judas and the Black Messiah too. So I agree with you on that. But while we didn't see movies, I think people have been tuning in to Ready to Love. Our audience loves Ready to Love. Is one of our favorite things to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think it's like people can see themselves and see situations that they've been going through dating. And so I want to go ahead before we start this interview. I wanted to play a clip from the last episode, and then we'll go ahead and get into that. Okay.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Because of those disingenuous moments and those cake daddy little feelings, they've determined that you're not ready to love.
I get it.
What do you think you're going to take with you as you continue on your journey?
Make sure that things are taken in proper context, for one.
Yeah, and no trips to at least the third day, Troy.
Okay, all right, well, we'll see. Let me just say this. I've learned my lesson. I have. I'm the type of guy, if I do something wrong once, all you gotta do is tell me one time not to do it again. And I won't do it again. I might make a different mistake, but I ain't gonna make the same mistake. Appreciate it. Come give me a hug.
Thank you for having this.
All right. I like that. I like what you said at the end. I'm not going to make that same mistake. I may make a different one, but I'm not going to make that same mistake. Were you surprised that you were the next to leave?
Not necessarily. I figured at least, I figured I would at least stay another week. I know there was rumors about, me being a little bit too flirtatious or whatever, maybe coming on a little bit too strong, too soon. That was, those things of that nature that was out there. So And I know a couple of the women may have rubbed wrong, whatever. Once everybody found out that it was kind of going around or whatever. So yeah, I wasn't too surprised. I thought I would at least stay at least another week or so, or whatever. But it is what it is. Yeah.
Troy, what were you thinking when you were flirting as hard as you were with all the women? Because I
Well,
don't
let me
think it
just say.
was over, Troy. It was happening.
Yeah, well, let me just say, in my grounds or purpose to kind of get to know a person, I try to fill them out or whatever, and you're there, kind of. It's almost kind of like speed dating for the most part on that show, whatever, on most of those dating shows. So you don't have much time to kind of create good chemistry level or get to know somebody, obviously, whatever. But just in my terms of kind of getting to know somebody, I may have went about it a little bit wrong. It may have gone, moved a little bit too fast, too soon. And I take ownership of that. I do take ownership of that. And that's if it rubs some people the wrong way, guilty as charged. And so, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I take pride in myself for being a gentleman. I've never really had any complaints about my gentleman-like qualities. I generally don't go around, flirting and being cozy up with women in the first date or two or whatever. But this was a different type of situation or whatever. Like I said, I'm not going to make no excuses about it. I take ownership of it.
Well, I think that's a great way to start. Great place to start first is by taking ownership. I wonder, because I think television obviously puts everybody in a different environment, right? Because there's cameras and there's a lot of different women and they can all see what you're doing, right? They're all, especially at the mixers, everybody's kind of around. So how are you different?
Can all see what they do. They don't necessarily can all see what they're doing, but when later on, when they go back and talk, they can all talk about what their experience was.
Right.
Like I said, at the time, like I said, we will all kind of move around, different women and different people, whatever. We have different times with different women, and everybody experiences a little bit different here and there.
How are you different? How would you hit on a woman differently if you were not, on the show? Like, how are you different in real life if you see a woman?
Let me just say, I'm nowhere near how I am on the show.
Okay.
Honest God, I'm nowhere near how I am in the show. I mean, I don't even really approach women for the most part. I really don't. I'm not the type of guy to be very aggressive. I make my way and I see if there's some chemistry level there, or whatever, or there's some kind of open dialogue or whatever, and I'll make my way and try to open dialogue with a young lady, whatever that I might be interested in, maybe depending on the environment where we are and what the surroundings are, whatever. And that's kind of pretty much how I do. But yeah, I'm nowhere near how that guy was on the show. I'm nowhere near that guy. I'm more low key, laid back, kind of let the night come to me, let the evening or wherever event or whatever atmosphere I'm in, let it kind of come to me, scope out the situation and just kind of let it come to me, whatever. I've actually been told I've been a little bit too laid back. But
were you trying to like turn it on a little bit more so that you could be successful on the show?
You can say that. Yes. You're trying to turn it on, turn the charm on a little bit more. I mean, do a little bit more than what you would normally not do, whatever, and trying to, stay. We all trying to stay as long as we can on the show and try to find that connection with that one person, that one special young lady. So that was the name of the game. Try to stay as long on the show as you possibly can, and try to make that one connection or one or two connections with that one person if you can. It's a very limited amount of time that we have.
Yeah.
So at that juncture, so you're just kind of just trying to feel things out.
Do you think that maybe if you had just been more yourself, you think that you would have had better results?
Possibly, yes. Correct. You're probably right. More like if I would be a little bit more laid back, like I am in real life, and a little bit more, I guess, yes, myself, and just kind of let the evening come to me. You want to kind of try to have a happy medium, because there was a couple of guys that was off the show. They got off the show very early on.
Yeah.
That wasn't very assertive. So it's like you're not being assertive. You got guys that are not being assertive too much. Then you got guys like me. They say it was being too assertive.
Yeah.
So you got to find a happy medium, that balance, and in general speaking, you should be able to find it. Yeah.
Well, I wonder, I ask everybody that comes on, because we always talk to the singles from Ready to Love every season. And I ask people, like, where were you at in your life, especially dating? What was going on in your dating life that made you be open to Ready to Love? I know you are one of the older people on the show, so that means that you've had more experiences than some, maybe. I'm not sure if you were married before, but what was going on in your dating life that made you say, you know what, I'll try this. This is something different. I'll go ahead and try this. And were you really seriously looking for love?
Well, for one, yeah, I was kind of somewhat talked into it. A couple of buddies was kind of talked into it. I was at first, when the first show first presented to me, I was really somewhat opposed of it. But after talking to a couple of guys, a couple of buddies and friends, I think one relative, whatever, they kind of encouraged me to do it, whatever. And where I was in my life at the moment, I was single, of course, and going through different relationships, in and out of different relationships, dating here and there. And last year's relationship was probably about 3 years ago. So yeah, I was just kind of like, I probably wasn't doing anything. The type of job I had allowed me some freedom, allowed me to have some freedom. So yeah, just kind of at the last minute. I wouldn't say at the last minute, but toward the last minute, I made a decision to do it, and that's what happened. And I ended up, they ended up picking me after going through.
What do you look for in a woman? Because I honestly cannot tell. I could tell you were attracted to some of the women, but I couldn't tell who you really had who you really were interested in, because it kind of seemed like maybe between Alexis and Stacy, it just seemed like you were attracted to a lot of them. Which
it was actually between Andrea and Alexis.
Okay.
That was the two I really had on my radar. Andrea, she got voted off early. And Alexis Fly, she was very attractive, and I thought we had some chemistry level early on. She obviously, I guess she didn't feel that way about me, whatever. But those were in my top three. They were consistently in my top three, and those are two I thought were very that stood out for me early on. I mean, obviously, all the young ladies were lovely, and I didn't get a chance to. There was 2 or 3 young ladies I didn't get a chance to have much dialogue with, a conversation with. But the ones I did have was Andrea. I had extensive conversations with her, which they didn't even show none of that. They got cut out or whatever. I had extensive conversations with Amber. Had a date with her, and of course Alexis, yeah, and Chris Athiam. I had a date. I actually had a date with her. They didn't even have that one.
Okay.
What
are you attracted to? What attracts you to a woman? What qualities are you do you think is the best connection for you in a mate?
Man, I like a woman with a great spirit. A woman that has great character about herself. A woman that's open-minded. A woman that's just gonna be ride or die. A woman that you can be vulnerable around. I like a woman that you can be yourself around. And that's important for me. I mean, personality, of course, all the superficial stuff, looks and stuff like that. But in terms of this inner beauty, I like, a woman that I can be vulnerable around. It's not, just going to be I want a partner, somebody I can grow with, somebody that we can, do things together and have fun-loving relationship.
That sounds good. I mean, you sound a lot more down to earth in this conversation than what we saw. What we saw was the trips.
I can assure you, what you saw is not what I am. I can assure you.
Where did the trips?
I'm not going to go into the show and but the show was the show, And like I said, when the lights, camera, action comes on, that was somebody that, that was the show. Let me just say
Yeah.
that that was the show. I'm not gonna get too much into. That was the show. And
Yeah,
real
no, I
life.
understand that. We understand that there's editing. We had Ida and Andrea on, and both of them, shared that they weren't able to really, that their personality they don't feel was really reflected in what people saw. And
Sure.
I think that most people feel like that once
Yeah.
they leave the show because you're not in charge of what is edited out. But I
Oh my
wonder,
God, so much is edited out. Let me just say,
yeah,
they ask you, we get an interview before the show 4 or 5 different times throughout the interview process, even on the show. And in any of those interviews, they ask you 25, 30, 35 questions about pretty much kind of some similar questions you're asking me or whatever. And
right.
they'll take one little small snippet of answer that of one of those questions that I asked out of 35 questions and throw it on the show. Like, man, that was one of the worst answers I gave out of 35 questions. So it is what it is. I mean, obviously, show is a show, and they have the editing. They have to obviously have it condensed down and things of that nature. I understand that, but they have to have I guess a villain. They got to have a bad guy. They got to, which I guess I was deemed as one of those, or the bad guy.
I don't think you were the bad guy. I think that before this
I
show
think I
started,
was. I feel like I was.
people were saying that you were like a ladies' man. He was trying to be a player. That could be
That is considered to be in a lot of people's eyes a bad guy. A bad guy.
yeah.
That's a ladies' man. Is most women don't want a ladies' man. I mean, I would assume. That's considered a bad guy. I mean, villainized. I mean, I felt like I was villainized on the show. Be honest with you.
Okay.
If I want to be honest with you, can be honest, open and honest with you, I felt like I was victim villainized on the show. So I mean, it is what it is. I'm not upset about anything. I had a fun time on the show, and show went well, and it's all good. But I feel like I was villainized on the show. A lot of my great parts and great attributes and personalities and interviews and dates was exited out of the show.
Yeah.
They took this, that, and the other to put in the show.
They had this quote that I thought was good about you because they had a quote for each of you on the show. And it said,
they had a good quote about me. Let me hear this.
It's a good quote, Troy.
Really?
It's a good quote.
Okay.
It's one of your quotes. It's basically says, I'm a girl's dad of one and a car and workout enthusiast that invests my time and money in real estate, the stock market, and traveling with the ambition to grow with love and be in love. I think that's a good quote.
Oh, that's a quote. That's a quote came from me.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought you said somebody had a quote, said something about me that was good. Okay. Yeah.
No. They shared that was that was who you were. So
Sure.
Obviously you said you like to travel, and I think the traveling was probably the point that kind of created the idea that you were kind of running game is the offers to take a woman on a trip. I can tell you, Troy, I have had guys hit on me and they say that in like the first conversation. And that is like a turnoff because you're thinking like, how many girls are you saying that to? Because you don't know me enough to want to take me on a trip. You know what I mean? So why did you make that choice to offer that so quickly?
Well, for one young lady, it was actually I only mentioned trips to one young lady. The first young lady, which was Alexis Fly, she brought it up for her birthday. Said, "Oh, I'm going on a trip for my birthday." Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I inserted myself into it. Like, oh man, if everything work out, I may be able to go on a trip with you.
Right.
That was it. That was that one. I just inserted myself. She said, she's mentioning up on her birthday's coming up, I think in May. I can't remember the exact date, but it was coming up soon in a few weeks or whatever. And I had to ask what she was going for. I asked her what she was doing for her birthday. And she made mention she's probably going to go on a trip. And I inserted myself into her trip.
Okay.
Somewhat. So that was one, which, I didn't offer. I didn't insert it. I think the next day, I think I was talking to, I want to say Venetia. And I think I mentioned something about going on trips, whatever. I love going on trips, whatever. And if everything will work out, I love taking women on trips. my last young lady, last young lady I was dating in a serious relationship with, we went on 2 or 3 trips a year, blah, 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 blah. And I inserted her into, oh, you like trips? I said, yeah. And then if you ever want to go, if we ever get together, I'll take you on a trip too.
Yeah.
That's how I was portrayed. That's how I was brought out. Just like I kind of said it. How I was portrayed was I was asking every girl I went out, every girl I interact with, hey, want to go on a trip? Want to go on a trip? Want to go on a trip? Which was, first of all, it was only 2 girls. The
Well,
first girl
did
brought
you
it.
say something to Andrea also about a trip? I think you said something to Andrea about a trip. Are you sure? Because I believe there was a snippet. We were looking at snippets before this, and it was Andrea.
Maybe so. But me and Andrea, that was one young lady that had a real bond with us. So maybe I remember 2. If you say it was 3, I'm not going to deny that. But Andrea and I, that was one girl that we had a really, really, really good chemistry level with. So yeah.
Okay.
But
But
going back to answer your original question, yeah, that's something I could see how that could be a turnoff to multiple or any young lady that could be. You talked about that on the first date or the first time meeting a young lady. That could be. I can see how that could be a turnoff. Yes.
So but obviously you really do like to travel, and you were just offering them kind of like that's your, because you mentioned that in your bio quote. So obviously travel is seriously what you like to do.
Yeah, and I do that quite often, extensively.
Okay.
I go on 3 or 4 trips, but I've even traveled by myself before. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure women do want to go on trips.
However, but I get it. Everybody likes to travel. I would imagine that too. But I get what you're saying, and I totally get and understand how it can come off if you bring that up or offer that up in the first time meeting a young lady. I get it. I get it. That's something you shouldn't or wouldn't do. I don't generally do that in real life. No, I don't.
Yeah.
But I was trying to captivate and capture attention to in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Captivate and capture attention to a certain couple of ladies or 2 in a short period of time, and like I said, it came across very disgenuine, and I get it. I see I can come across disgenuine, and once again, when everybody finds out that I did it to 1 or 2 other young ladies, it's really terrible. So listen, I own up to it, and I didn't say it was something I generally normally do in practice in real life, but I get how it can be
looked at that way.
Looked at that way and be turned off.
What do you think? Because I think the benefit of this show is that it shows people that have experienced life. So what do you think has been the reason that you're single at this point in life? Like, is there something that you've learned or a pattern that you've seen for yourself that you can say, you know what, this is some of the patterns I've done before, and this is what I've learned that I won't do the next time around?
In real life?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the patterns and why am I not much, just being let me see. Give me 1 second. I think my battery's a little low here. Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Okay, you're fine. Well, thank you guys. His battery was low. Hopefully Troy will get his battery recharged. You guys stick with us. This is Crystal Jordan. We're talking to Troy from Ready to Love. He was the latest bachelor sent home. And Troy is sharing with us his perspective on what happened on the show. We often offer everybody a safe space here to give their feedback. And I do think that it does make sense that a guy especially would try to figure out how to impress the ladies when you have a short period of time. So just saying that does make sense that you would try to, figure out something. The signature kiss, y'all, we're gonna let Troy come on back and ask him about the kiss when he comes back. But I'm sure he'll come back. You guys stay tuned. We're talking about Ready to Love. We're talking with Troy and asking him about his experience here on the show. We're going to give Troy a couple of seconds to log back on. Give us just a minute. Just a minute. Hopefully he will log back on here. All right, we're gonna give him a few more. Thank you, Lola. Thank you, Lola. We're gonna definitely let him have his say. We want to be. It's a safe space here, y'all. We want to get the truth, but we're gonna let him come back on. Hopefully. All right, where we go. Looks like we got Troy back.
Sorry about that. I apologize.
That's okay. That's all right. That is okay. So we are back with Troy, the latest bachelor from Ready to Love. And Troy, we're talking about what you have been doing to why do you feel like you're single at this point? And if there's anything that you would do differently, not on the show, but just in real life, because the show is not really what's important. Everybody's looking for love in real life.
Sure. I mean, in real life, I've been in a couple of nice relationships, serious relationships, and we all have things that we can improve on in real life, and but looking back on several, just just paying more attention, communicating a little bit better. Sometimes the communication gap can get misconstrued or whatever. So mostly just I've been in situations where where just the communication aspect of it is was not there as much. So I would think if I had any weaknesses in most of my relationships, to be in communication part of it.
Have you been married before?
I have not been married before. I've been close to. I've been engaged, but not married. No, I have not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I have not been married.
I always wonder with men, because there are obviously so many women that want to be in relationships. Obviously, you're a good-looking guy. You obviously have your stuff together. You're into real estate and got your coins together. And it hasn't
always been that way. And let me just say this too. I don't mean to interrupt you. It hadn't always been that way. Just in the last few years or so, the last 4 or 5 years, I would say the last 3 years or so, the coins have been good. And that's been actually one of my Achilles heels there. I've had a couple of opportunities in my early 40s and late 30s that I thought, could have possibly gone there. But I didn't feel like I was ready financially. I didn't feel like I was ready, spiritually or financially. And now that I'm ready in all aspects, especially financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, I know where I want and I know what I want now. So, but that's kind of been, to answer your question, like I said, I've had a couple of opportunities to get extremely serious with a young lady. But I felt like I wasn't ready here in the last 10 years or so. I felt like I wasn't ready, mainly mostly financially. The coins have been pretty good up and down most of my life, whatever. But, when they was down, they were down. They've been pretty consistent here in the last 3 to 5 years. And so, now it's just time to, I got all that pretty much taken care of that's in my life now. All this I'm missing now is the woman that I am. And maybe I should go back. And maybe I should go back and look for a woman. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I've asked a couple of people, I don't know if you watched last season, but one of the conversation pieces that we've talked to most of the cast on is how they feel about finance and romance. So knowing that, that was a big contention point last season.
That's been a good contention, for me, especially for me, and I can't really talk for most men, but I would even say for most men, what we do and how much we make is a big part of our life. You know what I'm saying? And we don't want to go in a situation, especially with a woman, because we I've been bred from my uncles and everybody, we're supposed to be the providers and the protectors and stuff like that. And if I go into a situation or marriage or feel like I was going into a situation where none of those areas are on point, or at least great, good to great or whatever, you just feel empty. And like I said, the last 10, 12, 15 years or so, it was, I ain't gonna say the last 10, 12, 15 years or so, but yeah, the money's just kind of been up and down. Not here recently, but 2013, 2010, 2012, 2014, yeah, the money was just kind of up and down or whatever. But last 4 or 5 years, not solid, whatever. So that was one, if not one of the main reasons why I just wasn't ready to have gotten married or whatever. Because I said I had a couple of opportunities. I was in a couple of serious relationships and just kind of bowed out because of this thought I just wasn't ready. It just wasn't my time. And I
Yeah.
just couldn't feel at the time that I could be that man that I wanted to be to that special young lady. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. And and other than a little bit of things, picky here, it's hard sometimes out here, man. You got to find a good connection. She got to like you as much as you like her. We got to have commonality. We got to go have same goals. I know we're not going to have everything in common. We got to have chemistry level in different places, physical, spiritual, sexual. It's just really hard out here. I mean, there's a lot of good-looking women out here. I'm sure there's a lot of good-looking guys out here, but looks and things of that nature gonna get you so far. So you got to when there's this opportunity to want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, that's gonna get you there. 6 months from now, the nude is gonna wear off, and then what? So so you want to be in sync with somebody where you can be able to have a long-lasting relationship. So when I get married, I want to do it one time only. So so yeah, I just just something I just cherish, and just been very careful about person I select. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. So I might have some things coming up. We'll see. Are you still there? Hello.
That was my fault.
I'm sorry.
That was my fault. I am messed up, but I was trying to read a comment from Didi758. She says, Troy, take my advice. Offering to take women on trips, you will attract the wrong type of women if you're looking for real love, because the day your coins depreciate, they will find the next guy with the coins. And I agree with Didi. I think
I agree, and I 100% agree with her too. Let her know, or if you can, or whatever, let her know. I see her point. I understand her point, and I somewhat agree with her as well. I mean, trust me. When you try to be too flashy or come on too strong too soon, like I said, that is nothing for a gentleman to want. I mean, I could guess it could be very exciting for some women, maybe in a younger bracket or whatever, maybe possibly. But for for the mature woman, or for the woman, the type of woman I'm looking for, yeah, I mean, I tell her I 100% agree with her. I mean, I couldn't agree better. Because when you
actually, I'm sorry. Didi is a man. I'm sorry. It was a brother giving you some brotherly advice. My bad.
Okay.
My bad. But he's right, and you're right as well, Troy. I think maybe not even so much younger, but people. If you catch a fish with bait, so the bait that you use will foretell the type of fish that you have. So if you throw out bait that's very materialistic, then of course you're going to catch a girl that is very materialistic. Even though women do like trips, just
100%. I know women like trips, women like gifts, women like things. It's like everybody likes gifts and having nice things. I'm sure that. But once again, there's a way you should go about it. There's a process and a procedure. There's a time and a place. There's steps involved, and there's steps involved. Let's see if we like each other first. Let's see if we have one. Let's see if we like each other first. Second, let's see if there's some chemistry level. Then let's see if there's some longevity here. Let's see if we have anything in common. Let's spend some time together, get to know each other.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have some longevity here, and then
then you can take her on a trip.
Then if a birthday or Christmas come around, or something of that nature, yeah, that's opportunities for gifts or Christmas trips or things of that nature. I get it. I totally get it. Listen, I'm 51 years old. Like I said, the show is the show. I mean, I'm well aware of how to handle myself out in the real life public. And I understand we're talking about the show, and that's perfectly fine. And I want to just make sure that we separate the guy that was on the show to the guy that you're talking to now in real life. Well aware of how to approach and conduct myself with a woman on dates, and so it's I totally.
I for one appreciate. I think that you are we did not see this side of you. I'm glad that you felt comfortable to come and share another side, share your real side. That was I appreciate you doing that. So do you look forward to getting married? Do you want to get married?
Absolutely. I look forward to getting married one day, and I hopefully get married sometime soon in the next 3 to 5 years or so. I'm not getting any younger here. So yeah, I look forward to getting married and think about it not a week go by. I think about how I will be in a loving, fun loving, committed relationship with a young lady that I can call my wife, and hopefully when I do, I'll make sure I invite you.
Well, please do,
Yeah,
Troy.
definitely.
I believe that she's coming. She's coming
No,
soon.
she
I
will.
believe that.
No, ain't no belief. She will be here. She's coming. Trust
There
me.
you go.
She will
Well,
be
Troy,
here.
you let them know your social media. There may be some women listening now that want to reach out. You know that may find that connection now that they see the real Troy.
Okay, my social media handle is Facebook is Troy McAllister, McAllister. Instagram, my social media is pretty much the same except a B in the middle. Troy B McAllister. Last name is spelled McAllister. Anytime you want to just follow me on Instagram or Facebook, anything. That's the only two social medias I really have. I don't do a whole lot of other social medias, whatever. But yeah, those are my two social media handles. Troy B McAllister.
Troy, so ladies, if you guys, there are a lot of ladies that are enjoying your conversation. Troy, I'm gonna ask you one last question before I let you go here on Monday. Because I love the fact that you mentioned being a girl dad, and I have a lot of friends that are girl dads, and they have a different perspective on women after being a father. So, what have you learned being a father? What has fatherhood taught you?
Man, fatherhood has taught me so much. Man, fatherhood has taught me that the woman is which I know this before, but fatherhood taught me that you have to take your time. You have to take your time with women. You have to like on the contrary about the show, I know it's totally opposite, but you have to take your time with women. And fatherhood has taught me that women are just they're precious commodities. I mean, we can't live on this earth without you guys. I mean, obviously that's kind of obvious, and fatherhood has just taught me just the precious thing about my daughter is she's just the love of my life, and she's 22 years old right now, and I wouldn't be me without her, and I love her to death, and her and I text and call each other on a daily basis, and she's excited for my future mate, and she's wondering when I'm gonna find one and a stepmom for her. I get that at least once a month from her.
What did your daughter think about you going on the show?
She was excited about it. She was excited about it. She's like, Daddy, I hope you find love, because she's my biggest cheerleader, and she's been wanting me to kind of find somebody or whatever. Every time I tell her I might go on a date, I try to once a month or whatever, Daddy's going on a date, and she's always drilling me, how did the date go? Do you like or whatever? But she was excited for me about it, and she wanted me to do well and obviously find love, and she's just ready for having a nice stepmom, and she just wants to see Daddy happy in a nice, loving, fun-loving relationship.
Is there anything that we talked to Andrea last week and Ida together, and Andrea.
Oh, you talked to them both there, okay?
Yeah, she was because they were both let go at the same time. And the week before we talked to Khalil, we didn't get Christian, but we did get Khalil. But both of them are single, and she said that she was open, to dating some people from the show. Would you consider reaching out to anybody after the show and after all this has happened and the television, is off television? Would you consider reaching out and trying to rekindle that?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
I mean, everything. Look, listen, things are, everything is, it's open. You know what I'm saying? You never know where you can find love at. I mean, like I said, all the women on the show was lovely. I enjoyed them. We had a great time. I mean, may not supposed to tell you this off camera, on camera. We had good camaraderie or whatever. And I love all the women on the show. I really do.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us. We wish you success. Troy, you have to keep us posted on the love, on what's going on with the love life. Come back and let us know. We actually had a young lady from the first season of Ready to Love, Courtney. Courtney came back with her husband after he proposed, right before they got ready to get married, and people.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah, I think I heard about that.
everybody wants love in their life. And I think people are rooting for you guys because you were bold enough to go on the show and actually
Yes.
put yourselves out there, regardless of the outcome. You were
Sure.
still courageous to take that step.
Right.
And I think people appreciate that. And yeah, there's going to be some people that give you a hard time, but at the end of the day,
Of course. I mean,
you got to get the good and the bad.
Listen, it's all goes with the territory. I'm okay with it. Actually, I've seen on Facebook and different places where they would beat me up about things, whatever. I find it all in fun, not a problem, whatever. I laughed at most of the comments, whatever. But it's all good. I love everybody, and criticism, feedback, constructive feedback is all good. And I'm good with I'm good with all of it. The good, the bad, and the
Well, you know what, Troy, it's not going to be long. I know you're going to find her very soon. Again, thank you for hanging out with us. You guys go follow Troy on social media, and we'll be watching for the rest of the season. Maybe Troy can come back and hang out with us once we do our recap and the season's over. Thank you so much, Troy.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you for hanging out. It's been a great conversation as always. I hope you guys reserve your judgment. We watch the show. We enjoy being entertained by the show, but you have to reserve judgment until afterwards. And of course, none of us know what we would do in that situation if we were on the show. But, in any case, we allow them to come on and give their perspective, and then we watch next Friday. So you guys tune in on Friday. We'll be back with another recap for Ready to Love right here on Rolling Out Friday at 10 o'clock. And then we have something very special coming up this weekend. So you definitely don't want to miss Monday's reality check. So this has been your host, Crystal Jordan. As all, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for being in the comments. I love reading the comments. They make me laugh when I'm trying to do the interviews. I love the comments, but thank y'all for hanging out. I will see you guys on Friday at 10 p.m. for another recap of Ready to Love. All right. Y'all have a great week, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.